Okay, guys, it is time. You know that time, the special time in our show when we have the most exciting segment of the show, and that is a moment in African history. That was perfect. Right, everybody sit down, relax, let's do this. Let me take you on a journey. Today we tell the tale of John C. Robinson. Who was he? Why have we never heard of him? We'll find out. Today, John C. Robinson was a pilot from Chicago who came to Ethiopia's aid during the fight against Italy. What fight? Let's find out. We're going to have to go back to 1896 to start this one, so come with me and let's do it. A few years after the division of the African continent, the Italian kingdom, which had obtained Eritrea and Italian Somalia as its African territories, wanted to add Ethiopia to its kingdom on March 1st, 1896. But it failed after the defeat of the Italian army in the Battle of Adwa, which is described as the First Italo-Ethiopian War. The battle fought near the northern town of Adwa in Ethiopia's Tigray region is the first victory by an African country over a colonial power. It left a very sour taste in the mouth of Italy, so he decided to take its revenge in the Second Italo-Ethiopian War, and that was in 1935. Led by Italian leader Benito Mussolini, Italy was successful in that war, but not without strong Ethiopian resistance under the leadership of Emperor Haile Selassie I and a brave African-American aviator from Chicago who did his part to fight fascists as commander of Ethiopia's Air Force. History says that when the news broke that Italy was taking over Ethiopia, blacks in the US, particularly in Harlem, who were loud in resistance and who saw Ethiopia as an ancient cradle of civilization, were outraged. Thus, they volunteered to take on the Italian dictator Mussolini. Apart from protesting, thousands of them signed up to go and fight for Ethiopia. They were, however, stopped by the State Department, who threatened jail, adding that the U.S. should only offer medical relief. But African-American aviator John C. Robinson was able to make it to Ethiopia. Recruited by the Ethiopian government to lead its air force, he sailed over with the cover story that he was an aircraft dealer, according to one account. So who was he? Well, he was born in Carabel, Florida in 1903, and Robinson and his family later moved to Gulfport, Mississippi, where as a kid he stood on the beach and watched the first aeroplane land in Gulfport. There and then he began to love the idea of flying. He also had an interest in mechanics and machinery, and so he traveled to Alabama in 1921 to study mechanical science at the Tuskegee Institute. After studying there to be an automobile mechanic, he moved to Chicago in 1927 and opened a garage in Bronzeville. He lived near the garage with his wife. Robinson would train as a pilot and later earn his pilot's license. But despite his amazing skills, the Curtis Wright Aeronautical University in Chicago refused his application because it did not admit black students at the time. So what Robinson did was to get work in the university as a janitor. He would clean classroom floors during lectures so he could follow what was being taught. And after classes, he would take notes off the chalkboard. After some time, the school relented and finally admitted him. And in 1931, he graduated at the top of his class as a master mechanic. He would also sign on as the school's first black instructor and teach the first all-black class, according to the Chicago Tribune. Well, in 1935, when Italy was preparing to go to war with Ethiopia, Robinson announced that he would help Ethiopia fight the fascist Italian forces. He disclosed that he was ready to fight for Africa's last sovereign nation, which he and many other black people saw as the true ancestral homeland, and for them a symbol of redemption in the diaspora. After making it to Ethiopia, he immediately took over as the leader of the nation's Air Force in August 1935 and trained many Ethiopians to fly and fix aircraft. According to Black Past, Robinson commanded a fleet of about 20 Potes 25 biplanes, which were, however, weaponless and used for reconnaissance only. Robinson, who was credited with having fought off 2 Italian planes during an observation flight in Ethiopia, helped the African country fight the Italian fascists for well over a year, earning the nickname the Brown Condor. Being a black flyer, media organizations all over the world, including black press in the U.S., paid attention to him during the Second Ethiopian War. But Robinson's Air Force flew over only a dozen or so aircraft, which the Tribune described as the mediocre scouting planes. At the end of the day, Ethiopia was defeated by the Italians. Selassie fled to Europe in exile, and Robinson went back home to the U.S. in 1936, and he was given a hero's welcome. He later became known as the father of the Tuskegee Airmen for his immense contributions to the aviation program he started at the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama in the 1940s. And after the Second World War, Robinson went back to liberated Ethiopia to train pilots and organize this country's national airline. And that was where he died in 1954, following a plane crash in Addis Ababa. He's buried there at Gulele Cemetery. At the wreath-laying ceremony to honor Robinson in 2018, Michelle Rayner, who was then the United States ambassador to Ethiopia, said, "The story of Colonel John C. Robinson illustrates something that is sometimes overlooked when we talk about the relationship between the United States and Ethiopia. We tend to focus on the important work that takes place between our two governments. But Colonel Robinson's story reminds us that the impact of our people-to-people relationships can be even greater." And that's it. That's his story. So, what do you guys think?
A hero.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he died in Ethiopia, that's crazy. He went back to train people after the war.
Pilots.
Yeah, and then he had a plane crash. That happens a lot, doesn't it? People who are like a certain profession.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Formula One drivers, after they finish their run as drivers and then they're training people and then they crash and then they die. There's been a few of them like that, and pilots as well. You finish your work and then you start training others and then something happens.
Yeah, I think it's just maybe fault in the aircraft or something.
And what I liked about the story was the fact that he refused to admit him to the university because he was black. So he went as the janitor and was listening to the lectures while cleaning. While cleaning. And then after everybody's gone, they will copy notes. People do all, when you have a dream and you're being blocked,
I think
you do all kinds of things to get around it. There are many. There are many stories like this. He's not the only one. A lot of like segregated schools, or you would go to, you'd be the first black medical student, for example, and they'll use you as a lab tech rather than in the class or it was so crazy. America has such a storied history when it comes to racial, their segregation and integration policies. Crazy. But yeah, it's great. Like, I think they saw, because Ethiopia is incredible because they're the only ones who were never colonized. Never. They're the only African country that has never been colonized.
True.
Ever. So, because Italians, so all the Germans came,
they really tried.
They took over Namibia, then the British came, really Ghana, close. Nigeria, the French came, and the Italians were like, hey, let's try our luck. They're like, you what? They were really defeated. Ethiopians were like, nah, not here, go back.
It's not going to happen.
They're the only European nation who were defeated by an African government and they refused colonization. I think we should all have done the same that we did. We tried. Let me not say we didn't try. We fought. We did. But they had guns and stuff. Anyway, so may he rest in peace. He has contributed to history, and it's our past. It's our past. We cannot go away from it. We take pride in it. We take caution from it, and we learn from it.
We learn a lot.
We're happy about it. It makes us proud, but at the same time makes us think, plan. And if you don't learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it. Right?
True.
Right. Rest in peace, John C. Robinson. Right. Now it's time. We're going to do our Proverbs. But before we do our Proverbs, we're going to do some tongue twisters. You ready?
Oh dear.
All right, before we do that, let's have one song and then we'll come back and we're going to do some tongue. Do you have enough time for a song? No? Okay, let's do tongue twisters first and our Proverbs, and then we'll end with a song. Okay, I think that's a good way to do it. All right, Jamila, you ready? I have 3 tongue twisters for you in Yoruba.
That's cheating. You never shared.
It's easy. Okay. You speak a little Yoruba, don't you?
Well, we'll see.
All right, just try. Okay, I'll give you a very simple one to start with. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
Let's see.
Okay, here we go. Bola ba baba bo bata.
Bola ba baba
bo bata.
Bata.
So Bola helped her dad take off his shoes. Bola ba baba bo bata. Bola ba baba bo bata.
Bo bata.
Bo bata. No, not bo bata. Bo bata.
Bo bata.
No, bo bata. That's your house coming out.
Okay.
Bola ba baba bo bata.
Bola ba baba bo bata.
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 No, bata.
Bata.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bola ba baba bo bata.
Bola ba 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 bo bata.
Not bata.
Oh my god.
You sound like Hausa. Bola ba
Bata.
No, not bata. Bata.
Bata.
Yes.
Okay. Bola bo bo. Bata.
So like you try. Bola ba baba bo bata.
Bola ba bababo bata.
Very close. Very close. One more time. Bola ba baba bo bata.
Bola ba bala. Wait.
Baba.
Say it again.
Bola ba baba bo bata.
Bola ba bababo bata.
Well done. Martin, I am not even going to go there. I have seen your work in linguistics. You want to try? Bola ba baba bo bata.
I think the Christmas episode proved that I'm not good at it.
I've seen Martin's work. We're like, what is he reading? Like, is he on the same page? All right, let's try one more time. This is going to be really trickier, but it's not that tricky. Okay? Just one more. Okay. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ènìyàn mọ̀ pé ọpọlọ ò lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. It's not that hard.
Oh dear, I'm not sure.
So ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ènìyàn, a lot of people, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ènìyàn mọ̀ pé, know that ọpọlọ frogs ò lọ́pọ̀lọ, don't have brains. Lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀, plenty of brains.
Say one. Say one now.
It's a popular one.
Chai.
So ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ènìyàn mọ̀ pé ọpọlọ ò lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀.
It's too long.
Okay, this is the last part. Ọpọlọ ò lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀.
Ọpọlọ
ò lọ́pọ̀lọ. Lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. Almost there. Shall I try? Ọpọlọ.
Of course. Polo.
Alright, I'm gonna leave you guys. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. Marcia, you wanna try? I'm like, Ọpọlọ ò lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀.
There's a lot of phonetics there that we don't have as well.
Yeah, ọpọlọ. You can say that ọpọlọ
Ọpọlọ.
ò lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀.
Lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. Ọpọlọ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀.
So you're getting the P, you're almost getting it, so it's like pa rather than a p. It's like a pa.
Like it's
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying. It's phonetics that I don't have.
So you guys don't have KP in Swahili. You guys don't have KP in Hausa.
We don't, but because
we're used to it.
Listening to us, I pick on it.
Yeah, okay. Because Igbo has KP as well, and Akwa Ibibio has KP as well.
Okay.
Ikpe, Okpara, stuff like that.
Okay.
And Yoruba has
Lokpo.
Ọpọlọ. All right. Well, you got bala. So well done. All right, a couple of proverbs before we go. Words of wisdom from our past. So, what do we say? Proverbs are the oil with which words are eaten. In Africa, we tend to use proverbs for everything, to explain something, to find the truth, to explain something, to go deeper into something, to give an example. And it's a heritage we pass down to our children and our generations from over and over again. Something we have to keep to ourselves, and we keep it precious and we share it. And it's what we use. It's just who we are. The proverbs are used by all cultures all over the world, but they're particularly precious in many African cultures. Now, these proverbs have been translated to English to make it easier for everybody to understand, but they're originally in all the different thousands of African languages. So I'm going to pick 4 to share with you today. And Jamila, if you have one in your mind that you'd like to share with us, you can start thinking about it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So, number 1. Ask for a camel when you expect to get a goat.
Okay.
So in English, there's an English proverb that says, reach for the clouds, reach for the stars, and if you land on a cloud, you've at least gotten high. So ask for a camel when you expect to get a goat, and that's from Sudan.
Okay.
All right, from Accra, Ghana, we have, those who want rain must also accept the mud. Those who want rain must also accept the mud.
True.
Yep. All right. And from Somalia, we have, do not set out on a journey using somebody else's donkey. I like that one.
Because the person might need it.
Ask for it back. So don't start something you can't finish, basically.
Yes, I used to love that saying. I still love it.
Don't start something you can't finish.
Don't start what you can't finish.
All right.
I would love to say that.
All right. So, and from Congo, we have, if a tree does not know how to dance, the wind will teach it.
Ooh.
If a tree doesn't know how to dance, the wind will teach it. So your circumstances can add to, you learning. Necessity is the mother of invention, basically.
Okay.
Right? And from Ghana, again, we have, do not beat a drum with an axe.
Ooh.
Do not beat a drum with an axe. So you can use it for different interpretations. Use the right tool for the right job, or don't overreact to things. It could be anything. But you don't explain Proverbs. You just put them out there, and people take from it what they want.
Interpret it. Yeah.
All right, last one, and we are going to South Africa for this one. It says, do not expect to be offered a chair when you sit in a place when the chief sits on the floor. So when visiting a place, do not be offered a chair. Do not expect to be offered a chair when you're visiting a place when the chief sits on the floor.
Makes sense.
Take from it what you want. All right, and that's it, guys. That is it. That is our show. We've had an amazing time with Dr. Jamila, Dr. Audu. We've talked about Sydney Poitier. We talked about AFCON. We talked about our African Spotlight was on Salima Mukasanga, who is doing us proud out there in Cameroon as the first female referee a men's international tournament. We talked about Claudio Fomentor from Italy. Claudio, he was looking for love in Ivory Coast. It didn't go as he thought it would. We've talked about Google investing $1 billion into Africa over the next 5 years to invest in, to make it digitally transformative. We talked about Johnson Robinson, the great pilot from Chicago who went to Ethiopia and trained them and fought with them against Italy in the 1930s. We talked about ECOWAS and Mali and how Mali is in hot water because they're refusing to go back to democracy and trying to have military rule. And we talked about many other things, didn't we? We had a great time.
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
Did. Oh, absolutely.
Did you enjoy, Martin? Did you enjoy, Serena?
Of course.
Thank you so much for all your contributions today. Had a wonderful time. Guys, we'll be back again next week. Oh, don't forget, if you want to apply for that job with AFBE, please go to the website www.afbescotland.org. There's a paid internship, a 6 months placement for their members. They want someone to help them with their membership and membership engagement officer. So go for it. Okay, if you're qualified, you don't even have to be qualified. I'm sure they'll train you. So here we go. We had a wonderful time. We're back next week with more news, spotlights, music, history, and everything in between. Until then, stay proudly African, Kenyan, Scottish, and everything in between. This is BB. I'll be back again next week. Bye. And to play us out, here is this song. Okay, I don't understand what's going on. Everybody is dancing to this song. Do you know it? I think it's called The Devilish Whistle or something like that. You know it? It's the name of the song is the name of the song. Why don't I have it here? Do you know it? 6'6" by yeah. I don't have it. I didn't put it. 6'6" by Mefo. You have it? You don't have it. Oh no. We have to find it. No. We have to play that song. We have
6'6" by Fellow Letty.
That's it.
Is it that one?
That one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. So I'm sure you heard it. Everybody's dancing to it and doing TikToks and doing videos, and all the white kids doing it. Like all the white kids are like dancing African dances to it. It's crazy out there. Anyway, that's what we're playing out with. So enjoy yourselves. I will see you all next week. Bye.